Have you ever caught yourself thinking about someone nonstop from the moment you wake up to the time you fall asleep? It feels like they're living rent-free in your mind, right? But why does this happen? Is it love, obsession, or something deeper? Stay tuned because today we're diving into the surprising psychological truths behind this phenomenon. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Emotional connection creates mental bookmarks. Have you ever noticed how certain people or moments stay etched in your mind? Almost like a bookmark page in a book? That's because emotional connections have the power to create mental imprints, a phenomenon where your brain prioritizes and stores memories tied to intense feelings. When we experience strong emotions with someone, whether it's love, joy, anger, or even pain, our brain treats these moments as significant. Why? Because the emotional intensity signals your brain that this information might be crucial for survival, decision-making, or future relationships. Think about it. The first time someone made you feel truly special, the arguments that left you sleepless at night, that unforgettable adventure you shared. These aren't just memories, they're emotional bookmarks. Your brain replays them to make sense of the feelings tied to them. Even if the person isn't physically around, your mind creates a feedback loop where emotions fuel thoughts and thoughts reinforce emotions. How this impacts you. This is why you find yourself thinking about someone repeatedly. It's not just nostalgia, it's your brain holding onto an emotional bookmark. For instance, if the connection was positive, your mind might replay those moments to relive the happiness. If it was negative, it might dwell on them in an attempt to resolve the unresolved. Why it's hard to move on. The tricky part? Your brain doesn't distinguish between helpful and unhelpful bookmarks. So, even if thinking about this person causes you stress or confusion, your brain still holds on to it because it perceives it as important. Takeaway tip. To break free from this loop, you need to create new mental bookmarks. Shift your focus to new, positive experiences that don't involve this person. For example, spend time learning something new or engaging in hobbies that excite you. Surround yourself with supportive people who bring positivity into your life. The goal isn't to erase the bookmark, but to overwrite it with healthier, more fulfilling ones. Unresolved feelings or lack of closure. Have you ever felt like a conversation or relationship ended abruptly, leaving you with more questions than answers? That's the power of unresolved feelings and a lack of closure. These lingering emotions can act like an unfinished book that your mind keeps returning to, hoping for a conclusion that never comes. Why unresolved feelings stick around. When we experience emotional moments, especially those involving conflict, heartbreak, or unspoken words, our brains struggle to process the event fully. It's like a puzzle missing a piece. You can't help but think about it because your mind is wired to seek resolution. For example, a friend suddenly stops talking to you and you never find out why. A romantic relationship ends without proper communication. You feel guilt or regret about something you said or didn't say. These unresolved moments linger because they leave an emotional gap. This gap creates a mental loop where your mind replays the situation, trying to fill in the missing pieces. The psychological impact. This lack of closure can lead to overthinking, anxiety, or even a false sense of hope. You might find yourself replaying scenarios, imagining what you could have said or done differently, or wondering if things could have been saved. How to break free. To move past unresolved feelings, try these steps. Acknowledge your emotions. Write down how you feel. Journaling can help externalize your thoughts and make them more manageable. Seek closure on your own. If direct communication with the person isn't possible, find closure within yourself. Write a letter expressing your thoughts and feelings, but you don't have to send it. The act of writing can be incredibly freeing. Practice letting go. Recognize that not all situations will have a neat ending. Sometimes, closure comes from accepting that you won't get all the answers. Realignment. Focus on what you can control, your present and future. Shift your energy to goals and activities that bring you joy and peace. rather than staying tethered to what's unresolved in the past. The power of shared memories. Shared experiences and memories can be incredibly powerful. They create a bond that lingers, even when the person is no longer in your life. These moments often evoke strong emotions and serve as mental anchors, pulling you back to relive them repeatedly. How shared memories shape your thoughts. When you share significant experiences with someone, whether it's traveling to new places, late-night conversations, or simply enjoying the little things together, your brain attaches meaning to those events. Over time, these moments become deeply ingrained in your memory. Here's why. Emotional weight. Memories tied to strong emotions are prioritized by the brain, making them more vivid and harder to forget. Nostalgia's role. Thinking about shared memories often triggers feelings of comfort or longing, making you dwell on the person even more. Triggers everywhere. Places, songs, smells, or objects associated with those experiences act as constant reminders, bringing those thoughts back to life. Why it's hard to let go of these memories. The emotional intensity of shared memories makes them feel irreplaceable. Your mind might trick you into believing that those moments were unique and can't be recreated with someone else. This reinforces the mental loop of holding onto the person, breaking free from the memory loop. To loosen the grip of these memories, try the following. Reframe the memory. Shift your focus from the person to the experience itself. For example, if you remember a fun trip, focus on the joy of traveling and exploring rather than the individual you shared it with. Create new experiences. Replace old memories with new, positive ones. Start making fresh connections with new people or places to give your brain something else to anchor to. Limit triggers. Identify the triggers, songs, places, or objects, and create boundaries. For example, avoid revisiting places that stir up these memories until you feel ready. Takeaway. Memories are powerful, but they don't define your future. While it's okay to cherish the good times, it's also essential to make room for new experiences that bring you peace and happiness. Attraction and desire. Attraction, whether emotional, physical, or intellectual, has a unique power to capture your thoughts. When you're drawn to someone, your brain becomes fixated on them, almost as if it's on a constant loop. This attraction isn't just about what's visible on the surface. It taps into deeper desires, fantasies, and needs that your mind often returns to. Why attraction keeps someone on your mind? When you feel an attraction to someone, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This creates an almost addictive loop where the brain craves more of the reward, i.e., the person. This is why someone you're attracted to can dominate your thoughts. Attraction can also be linked to a deep-seated desire for connection or validation. Your brain wants to hold on to the thought of the person because it's trying to satisfy those emotional needs. Whether it's wanting to feel desired, understood, or loved, the mind finds comfort in thinking about someone who fulfills those desires, at least in theory. How attraction creates a mental focus loop. This loop becomes cyclical. The more you think about the person, the more your brain associates them with the feelings of pleasure or satisfaction. Your brain craves more dopamine, leading you to focus even more on that individual. This cycle reinforces the thought pattern, keeping them on your mind continuously. How to break free from this focus loop. If the attraction is causing distress or preventing you from moving on, here are some ways to regain control of your thoughts. Focus on self-worth. Instead of seeking validation from the person you're attracted to, work on building your self-confidence. Engage in activities that make you feel good about yourself. Redirect your focus. Divert your energy into new hobbies, goals, or relationships that don't involve the person. This helps break the addictive cycle of attraction. Embrace imperfection. Recognize that no one is perfect. Sometimes, intense attraction can idealize someone in your mind. Remind yourself of the flaws and imperfections that come with any individual. Takeaway. Attraction can create a powerful mental pull, but you have the power to regain your focus. By shifting your attention away from the source of your attraction and investing in your own growth, you can reduce the intensity of those thoughts. The role of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is an incredibly powerful force that governs much of your behavior, thoughts, and emotions, often without you even realizing it. When someone stays on your mind constantly, it's not just because you're actively thinking about them. Your subconscious mind is playing a key role in keeping those thoughts alive. How the subconscious mind works. The subconscious is like a warehouse, storing memories, feelings, and experiences that you may not always be aware of. However, it doesn't forget these stored emotions. Often, your subconscious mind brings up unresolved situations or desires without your conscious input. For instance, if you've had a significant experience with someone, your subconscious will continue to process that information long after the event has passed. The mind may revisit certain memories, not because you want to think about that person, but because the subconscious is attempting to make sense of unresolved feelings or experiences. The power of repetition and mental triggers. Your subconscious mind is triggered by sensory cues, sights, sounds, smells, or even the mention of the person's name. These triggers can evoke a flood of memories or emotions, bringing the person back to the forefront of your thoughts. Even without actively trying, these reminders will cause your subconscious to bring them back into your mental space. For example, hearing a song that you associate with someone could instantly bring their face to your mind, even if you hadn't thought about them in days. This happens because your subconscious has linked that song to the emotions or experiences you had with that person. How to manage your subconscious influence. Managing the influence of the subconscious requires awareness and intentionality. Here are some steps you can take. Identify and address emotional triggers. Pay attention to the specific triggers, places, music, scents, etc., that bring this person to your mind. By identifying them, you can reduce or remove those triggers to minimize their impact. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness exercises like meditation help you gain control over your thoughts and quiet the subconscious noise. Regular practice can help you distance yourself from thoughts that aren't helpful. Create new associations. Intentionally form new memories with other people or experiences. Your subconscious will begin to associate new emotions with different events, helping you move away from the thoughts that are currently taking up too much space. Takeaway. Your subconscious mind plays a crucial role in keeping someone on your mind, but you can reclaim your mental space by becoming more mindful of your thoughts and actively creating new associations. By doing so, you can break free from the constant replay of certain people or memories in your mind. Habitual thinking patterns. Your brain is wired to develop habits, and this includes the way you think. Just like physical habits, such as checking your phone every few minutes or reaching for a snack, your mind can develop thinking habits. When someone stays on your mind all the time, it could very well be because your brain has formed a habitual thought pattern. Why habits are so hard to break? Habits are reinforced by repetition. The more you think about a person or situation, the stronger the neural pathways associated with that thought become. Over time, your brain gets used to this repetitive cycle, and the thoughts become automatic. It's like an ingrained routine that feels difficult to break, even when you want to stop. For example, you might find yourself thinking about a past relationship because, after a while, your brain has become accustomed to replaying those thoughts. You might think about someone because your mind has habitually formed a connection between that person and certain feelings, like comfort, desire, or unresolved tension. The impact of habitual thinking. When a thought becomes a habit, it takes less effort for your brain to return to it. Just like you automatically reach for your phone or start your car in the morning, your brain defaults to thinking about the person who occupies your mind. Unfortunately, this can lead to overthinking, stress, and emotional exhaustion. How to break the habit. Changing a habitual thought pattern takes time and consistency. Here are some tips to help you break free. Recognize the pattern. Start by becoming aware of the moments when you're thinking about this person. Is there a trigger? Do you notice specific thoughts that come up consistently? Recognizing the pattern is the first step toward breaking it. Distract and redirect. When you catch yourself thinking about the person, intentionally redirect your thoughts. Engage in activities that require your full attention, such as exercising, reading, or learning something new. The more you replace these thoughts with other activities, the less automatic they will become. Introduce new thought habits. Just like physical habits, mental habits can be replaced. Start thinking about other people, places, or goals that are positive and empowering. The more you consciously choose to think about other things, the more you'll train your brain to shift its focus. Practice thought-stopping techniques. Use techniques like thought stopping, saying stop in your mind, and then replacing the thought with something else, or visualization exercises. Picture a mental image of something peaceful or joyful to replace the thoughts of the person who's occupying your mind. Takeaway: habitual thinking can trap you in an endless loop of overthinking, but you have the power to disrupt this pattern by becoming mindful of your thought habits and actively choosing to replace them. You can regain control over your mental space. Emotional attachment and dependency. Emotional attachment and dependency can be some of the most powerful reasons why a person occupies your mind constantly. When you form a deep emotional connection with someone, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, your brain begins to associate that person with feelings of security, comfort, and emotional fulfillment. Why emotional attachment can keep someone on your mind. Humans are naturally wired to form bonds with others. This attachment is built on shared experiences, mutual trust, and emotional exchange. When you become emotionally attached to someone, your brain registers them as a source of emotional support, and this attachment becomes ingrained. For example, in a romantic relationship, emotional attachment creates a mental and emotional bond that ties you to the other person. In friendships, shared vulnerability and time spent together build trust and dependency, making you constantly think about that person's well-being and presence in your life. The role of dependency. When emotional attachment leads to dependency, the person's presence in your life becomes almost essential for your emotional stability. Your brain may begin to rely on their approval, comfort, or companionship, and without them, your thoughts may turn toward a longing or need to feel connected again. This dependency can make it hard to move on or let go, especially if the relationship is no longer present or has changed. How to manage emotional attachment and dependency. While attachment is natural, managing emotional dependency is crucial for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. Here's how you can reduce emotional dependency. Build emotional independence. Focus on cultivating your own emotional strength and self-reliance. Engage in activities that boost your confidence and help you feel good about yourself without needing validation from others. Recognize the difference between love and dependency. Understand that healthy love and attachment allow both individuals to grow independently. Dependency, however, can lead to unhealthy patterns of overthinking and emotional strain. Seek new sources of fulfillment. Redirect your emotional energy toward passions, hobbies, and other relationships that are fulfilling and balanced. This can help you break free from over-relying on one person for emotional stability. If someone is constantly on your mind, it's more than just a passing thought. It's often tied to deeper psychological factors like emotional connection, unresolved feelings, attraction, or mental habits. Understanding the reasons behind these thoughts can help you manage them more effectively. By practicing mindfulness, seeking closure, and building emotional independence, you can regain control over your mental space. Remember, it's okay to have someone on your mind from time to time, but it's essential to take steps to avoid becoming overwhelmed by them. By acknowledging and addressing the root causes, you can free yourself from unnecessary overthinking and bring balance to your thoughts and emotions. What strategies have worked for you in managing your thoughts? Share your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.